Hey there, friends and enemies, Stropa here again, and today I want to talk about my 5 most anticipated upcoming RPGs of 2024, all of which have a release date or release window of this year. Now, obviously this is subject to change, games get delayed, but for now, these are the games that I'm most anticipating, and keep in mind, I also have 2 honorable mentions at the very end, which may or may not release this year. I might be huffing a little copium with that one, but that'll be for the end. Anyway, for now, I'm going to start things off with Metaphor ReFantazio. And the reason I'm really looking forward to this one personally is it has such a unique art style, unique layout, that it feels so interesting to me that it's doing something different. We've gotten a lot of remasters lately and a lot of games that are inspired by classic JRPGs, and this is one of the first ones we've gotten in a while that is incredibly forward thinking, and I hope this sparks more JRPGs to take risks and push the genre forward. That's what I'm most anticipating with ReFantazio. The cutscenes that we've seen so far with the story look very interesting and could be coming right out of an anime because of how gorgeous they are. The layout is fantastic. The combat, if you've played Persona 3 through 5, you'll be familiar with this turn-based combat. I believe from what we've seen so far, it looks very familiar, but also has some nice twists that I am very much looking forward to. And overall, this is the type of game that if you're a fan of JRPGs, it's pretty much a can't miss. Now, this one drops on October 11th, 2024, and that month, it might be my most anticipated for that entire month because of how incredibly hyped I am about that game. But that leads me to my most anticipated game of 2024, whether it's games that have already released or coming out in the future, and that is Dragon Age The Veilguard. This one doesn't have a firm release date, instead just a fall 2024 release window, but I personally hope it drops in either October or November, and it's going to be absolutely tremendous in my opinion. I am a big fan of this franchise. I've enjoyed Origins 2 and Inquisition, and I know it's changed up as the series has gone along. I don't personally mind that, whether it's with Dragon Age or with a franchise like Final Fantasy. Taking risks, trying new things, I think is important to upgrading those franchises. That being said, I'm really looking forward to the way the Veilguard handles the interaction with the party. I'm a little frustrated, as are a lot of people, that the game is going from a 4-person party to only 3, but it does look like in the combat, the gameplay that we've gotten so far, there's going to be a lot more customization and making this party feel like your own with all the different skills and interactions that we're getting. And that has me incredibly excited because I think in the past, what I've loved about Dragon Age games is the interactions with your companions, the romance storylines, the side quests with your companions, and the general storyline which has stakes and requires you to make important decisions that do have an effect on the overall story and also the realm as a whole. What has sometimes frustrated me is the fact that I can have a party that doesn't really synergize as well together as I personally would like. Whereas the 3-person party feels like it's going to be more concise and allow you to really have some very interesting interactions that could be incredibly awesome and have their own unique effects and that kind of stuff, which I think would be a good trade-off overall. We'll have to wait and see once we get hands-on. I know some people were put off by the initial reaction when we met the Veilguard companions. That being said, for me, this is still one of my most hyped, and I cannot wait to get hands-on with it. Personally, it looks absolutely tremendous, in my own personal opinion. Now, the next game on the list is going to be the next game that drops on this list as well. So that is going to be Black Myth Wukong. And originally, everyone was assuming this was going to be another Souls-like game, which would have been fine, but the more we've learned about it, it's actually going to be more of an action RPG, similar to a God of War type game, rather than a Souls-like, and I find that to be incredibly interesting. There's no parrying or blocking mechanics, you instead are going to be dodging for the most part, and so this is going to really change up the way people approach this game. There are not difficulty options either, which some people may or may not like, but overall, it does look like you can approach the game in a lot of different ways. And this one looks awesome as far as the enemies that you fight. The combat looks very interesting, and the storyline looks quite unique as well. It's something that we haven't seen played out in the past, and I'm really looking forward to getting hands-on with this one as well, just because I do feel like this or Dragon Age the Veilguard will be among the Game of the Year contenders. I don't know if both will make it on that list, but I would put a lot of money down that one or the other makes it to those top fives. And so I really hope Black Myth Wukong lives up to the hype. It does seem to be one of those games that everyone is starting to get really, really excited about from early hands-on gameplay and some of the things we've seen so far with story, trailers, and other different bits of content we've gotten. So very, very exciting. This releases on August 20th, 2024, and should be one of the biggest games of the year. Another game releasing in August that I am really excited about is Visions of Mana. It's been a long time since we've gotten a new Mana game that is in the mainline series, and this one looks absolutely tremendous. Again, very different from the other games on this list. And that's one of the things I'm most excited about with 2024 in general, is it does feel like we have a wide variety. If you only like a certain type of game, then this year might be a little bit more frustrating, but as somebody who likes to mix it up, this year is absolutely perfect. And I actually got to play this demo for Visions of Mana, which is available right now, and I thought it was a lot of fun. The story looks interesting, the companions and the way you can customize your characters and adjust their abilities through different elemental powers was very cool. I thought that was awesome because you can really expand, because you do have a 5-person party overall, 3 of which can be with you at any given time. However, you can really adjust the gameplay based upon what types of elements you prefer, what types of abilities you like, and there's a lot of different options there. Now, overall, this is not going to be, again, a game for everyone. I think JRPGs in general are more, not necessarily niche, but I do think they have their own audience. But this game is colorful, it's very pretty to look at, riding around on your mount feels very fluid, and there's a lot to enjoy about this game overall, including the combat, which again is a little bit action oriented when you get into combat, but you're going to be kind of sectioned off from other parts of the world when you get into combat, and some of the abilities that you use are very, very unique. So I do really enjoy that overall. Now, moving on, we are going to get to the final entry on this list, and that is going to be Fantasian Neo Dimension. This is a game that doesn't have a firm release date as of yet, and is actually a console version of a mobile game from the creator of the Final Fantasy series. It does have very familiar Final Fantasy vibes, and unlike the previous games that I've talked about so far today, this one is actually going to really feel like a throwback. If you want to enjoy a game similar to some of the earlier Final Fantasy games, then Fantasian Neo Dimension is definitely going to be for you. The enhancement they've put into this game from the mobile version to the console version, I think, are really good looking. And overall, this is a game that I do feel like it looks a little bit dated. It's not going to match up to Metaphor ReFantazio or Visions of Mana, but I do feel like it is one that will be a very fun game that you should absolutely check out if you are a fan of JRPGs and are missing that classic Final Fantasy feel. And that's really what this one is going to provide for you. Again, not something that's going to be for everybody, but I do think it is going to be one that a lot of people will also enjoy. Now, finally, I want to get to my 2 honorable mentions, and these ones, I don't think either of these is actually going to release in 2024. I'm more incredibly hopeful, and the first one is Suikoden 1 and 2, the HD remaster. Now, this one was supposed to launch originally in 2023, got delayed. We anticipated it dropping in 2024, but now we've heard absolutely nothing ever since the delay announcement, and that's incredibly frustrating. This is probably my favorite JRPG series of all time. It is tremendous. We did get Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes this year, and that game is also fantastic, a spiritual successor to the Suikoden series, but I just want to play the old 1 and 2 on my most recent console and enjoy the games for what they are. And that not being possible right now is incredibly frustrating. I do hope we hear about this game in the near future because it's one that I was really excited for heading into 2024, and now I'm just waiting on any additional information that we might get. The final game is actually more action than RPG, following along a similar style from Nier or Code Vein, and that is going to be AI Limit. This game looks really cool and really interesting. I do like the vibes overall. It kind of reminds me of Genshin Impact, but instead of being a gacha game, it's a single player story game that I think looks really, really interesting. Now, we don't have enough information on this one. It was initially hinted at that it would be releasing in 2024, but this is another one that I think will likely get delayed into 2025 at some point. We don't have a firm release date yet, and the longer we go without one, the less likely that it's going to be confirmed for this year. Although I wanted to keep this on people's radars because I do think this one looks very, very interesting. I was not a massive fan of Code Vein personally, but this one looks more appealing to me personally, so I would love to get hands-on with it and see if it's going to live up to my excitement about it. Anyway, let me know if there are any RPGs that I might have missed on this list, any that you would have included, any that you are either excited about or not excited about for whatever reason. Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to see more videos like this is a bit different from what I normally post on the channel. Hit the comments, let me know, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that kind of good stuff. My name is Jopa. I hope you have a good one. I'll catch you all later.